Water is a powerful force for the growth and vitality of your state, county, and hometown. This video was created to give you an understanding of the voluntary phase of source water assessment and protection planning. What some people view as problems can simply be seen as opportunities to find solutions. Much as this water is constantly moving in a forceful direction, your community can decide to create a dialogue and understanding of solutions that will lead to the protection and improvement in the quality of your community's source water. This understanding of source water assessment and protection planning may be your community's opportunity to proactively address the potential for contamination to your drinking water source.
Here at the base of Seven Falls, you can see what many people visualize about Colorado's water supply: pristine and clear water. The stream cascading off of Pikes Peak granite is clean and pure looking, but as the water makes its way 50 miles down the canyon into Fountain Creek and then merging with the Arkansas, it picks up both natural and man-aggravated pollutants. The waters become contaminated and unsafe for recreation. And the cost of treatment is increased for communities below who are producing safe drinking water for their communities.
The main goal of any drinking water supplier is to provide safe and reliable water to the consumer. However, meeting the goal is becoming more complex with the impacts of external factors, such as increasing populations, the declining quality of water sources, and the discovery of new threats to human health in rivers, streams, and aquifers. EPA estimates that water suppliers will need to spend over $20 billion nationwide to reduce the threat from contaminants that can cause acute health effects. An estimated $11 billion will need to be spent on rehabilitating source waters.
The Colorado Source Water Assessment and Protection Program has two primary goals. The first goal is to educate the public about the quality of their raw water sources and the potential impacts to it. Colorado is essentially complete with the first phase, the assessment phase, and is moving forward on putting things in place to begin protection planning and working with our local partners.
The second phase of the program is the protection planning phase. This is a very critical phase of the SWAP program. What it does is it takes the assessment results that we have reported to the public water systems, and it will allow the water systems to take a closer look at the potential risks to their system and develop best management practices to minimize the potential risk to their raw water supply. This is a great advantage for public water systems in that they can potentially avoid contamination to their raw water supply, so they don't have to spend as much money in treatment costs, etc.
Too many times we think that we have a one-time opportunity to keep this valuable resource clean. If the source area is contaminated, we assume there is nothing we can do. But the hydrological cycle is much more complex than that. Water, in all its forms, ice, snow, rain, surface water, groundwater, water in ponds, lakes, reservoirs, oceans, and seas, is not the entire picture we should consider. Water, purified and free of pollutants, cycles back in a never-ending cycle. The process called evaporation, evapotranspiration, and sublimation helps to return water back to the sources of our drinking water. Because of this solar-driven cycle, we do have the opportunity to protect the water flowing to our treatment plants and neighbors downflow from us in a much cleaner and more pristine state. Though man is certainly not the only contributor to contamination, we can make a difference in the many paths over which water flows. Most people would agree that a vaccination to prevent illness is worth the time, expense, and inconvenience. Similarly, local governments are using source water protection approaches to prevent drinking water supply contamination. This analogy in an article by Steve Ainsworth, Hamilton Brown, and Paul Jean, called Source Water Protection: What's in It for You, makes a world of sense. Surface water areas in Colorado connect many communities with common sources of drinking water. Groundwater also connect communities who have common water sources. There are risks to your raw drinking water supplies. Statewide oil and gas wells dot our state map. Spills occur and they do affect your drinking water, as this graph illustrates. Potential contaminants also dot our landscape. Managing the risks of your drinking water is vital to maintaining safe drinking water. Protecting your source water should be a local goal and focus. Source water protection is designed to get citizens involved in local protection planning. Many communities draw water from the same source. Who are the stakeholders, the organizations, the other public water systems that should be involved in the protection of your water? Where is your public water system? What are risks of contamination to your water source? Are there threats to your water supply? If so, what are they? The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment has provided each public water system with a delineation map. The delineated protection area defines the areas or zone providing water to the surface water intake and the groundwater well. The delineated protection area is also the area through or over which contaminants, if present, are likely to migrate and reach the drinking water well or surface water intake. Mapping or delineating the source water protection area shows the areas that should be protected, and the level of protection is determined by the time it takes water to travel to your community's intakes and wells. Your community should begin with this map. Water is called the universal solvent because it dissolves more substances than any other liquid. As water travels over the surface of land or through ground, it dissolves naturally occurring minerals, vegetation, and sometimes even radioactive material, which can be the result of oil and gas production and mining activities. It can also pick up animal waste, pesticides, and debris from human activity. Rain also washes off waste from impervious surfaces, sidewalks, roads, and other large expanses of concrete. And it transports those down to rivers and reservoirs and the recharge areas for groundwater supplies. To ensure that our water is safe to drink, your public water system treats and disinfects raw water to meet standards set by U.S. EPA. This increases the cost of water to consumers. It is important to identify activities and facilities within your source water protection area which have a potential to contaminate your drinking water sources. The types of potential contaminants inventoried and the location with respect to your drinking water supplies will help you determine the level of concern your community should have and assess the risks associated with these contaminants. You need to delineate and survey a source water protection area to inventory threats, such as active or abandoned mining. Erosion adds to the turbidity in your raw water supply. This increases treatment costs. What was in your trash? Have you forgotten? Where is your trash now? Does it add to your water supply risk of contamination? Will the businesses in your community help you protect your water? Large areas in your community called non-point sources can contribute to contamination. Implement best management practices to lower the risk of contamination. Remember that we are all contributors to the solutions. Fun is fun, but shouldn't we think about our actions and their consequences? Are there abandoned wells in your community? They can allow contaminants to enter directly into your ground and surface water sources.